Of this one thing, you have absolute and complete command, your mind. Master this, and no external force can stop you. People will test you. Life will push you. The world will laugh at your struggle. But what separates those who conquer from those who quit? It is the firm silence. It is the mind that, even bleeding internally, refuses to hand its power over to chaos. So listen closely now. If you desire to build an unshakable mind, to face challenges with true courage, and to attain real success, then this is for you. Here you will learn what you've never been told. The world does not change. People do not change. What changes is the strength of your mind in the face of them. And when that happens, nothing holds power over you anymore. While the world pushes you to react, to explode, to play the victim, the great ones know. True power lies in choosing your own thought. Napoleon Hill called this mental sovereignty. He said all riches of every kind begin with a dominated idea. What does this mean? That before you conquer anything out there, you must first conquer what is in here. You don't control the economy. You don't control others' opinions, but you can choose not to yield, not to bend, and not to surrender your peace to what does not deserve it. This silent choice, made within the mind, is the first step toward becoming unbreakable. And believe this, whoever masters this inner space has nothing to prove to anyone. You want to know what makes a man continue even when exhausted, overlooked, and discredited? Self-discipline. It is invisible, yet it shapes everything. It is what pulls you from bed when your will wants to sink you. It is what stops you from replying in rage. It is what says no to immediate pleasures because it sees the prize that has not yet arrived. Napoleon Hill was clear. Self-discipline is the bridge between thought and manifestation. You can have the world's best plans. You can read every book. You can watch 1,000 videos like this one. But without the discipline to apply, nothing happens. Act as if nothing affects you. Yes, but understand this is not pretense. It is training. It is a mind conditioned, little by little, to respond with purpose, not with impulse. And this quiet force is worth more than any fleeting motivation. We live in a noisy world. Everyone wants to speak, to retort, to prove something. But you want to be truly strong? Learn to be still. Napoleon Hill observed that the most successful men he met were those who spoke little and thought much. Because silence is a force field. It protects you. It allows you to observe. It grants you time to think before you move. To be calm is not to be weak. It is to be strategic. While fools react, the wise calculate. And when they finally act, no one understands where such firmness came from. Want to be unshakable? Stay silent when the world tries to provoke you. For true power is knowing you could explode, but you choose to conquer. You think strength is feeling less? No. Strength is not the absence of emotion. It is the capacity to choose what to do with it. Napoleon Hill taught that the greatest enemy of success is the undisciplined mind, ruled by impulse. Anger makes you act fast. Anxiety makes you quit too soon. Neediness makes you accept what you don't deserve, but self-control sets you free. When you understand this, you stop justifying your behaviors with phrases like, "That's just how I am," or "It was stronger than me." Nothing is stronger than a decided mind. Nothing. Don't react. Choose. Don't explode. Observe. Don't let your emotions decide for you, because whoever acts only when in a good mood will never go far. Success demands consistency, and consistency demands conscious emotional control. One of the greatest proofs of inner strength is the ability to not explain yourself all the time. You don't need to justify every choice, every step, every silence.
Napoleon Hill stated that the opinion of others is a luxury only the insecure take seriously. While you try to please everyone, your energy is drained and your purpose is forgotten. But those who know who they are have no need to prove it. They walk with firmness even when misunderstood. They choose what to leave unspoken, understanding that to answer everything is to waste time on nothing. People will judge you regardless. They will question, criticize, distort. So what? You are not here to be understood. You are here to fulfill what you were born to do. And that is not explained, it is lived. Pay attention. Those who shout too much are hiding too much. The weak cannot bear the shine of the focused. They do not attack you for your mistakes. They attack you for what you represent. They remind them of what they lacked the courage to become. Napoleon Hill said that unjust criticism is often a disguise for ill-resolved admiration. So stop trying to defend yourself, to fix every comment, to please those who will never support you. These people don't want truth. They want you to stoop low. They want you to explain yourself. They want you to quit. But you were not made for that. You were made to disturb, to generate discomfort in those living on autopilot, and to inspire, even if silently, those who are still awakening. So listen closely now. If you desire to build an unshakable mind, to face challenges with true courage, and to attain real success, then this is for you. Here, you will learn what you've never been told. The world does not change. People do not change. What changes is the strength of your mind in the face of them. And when that happens, nothing holds power over you anymore. While the world pushes you to react, to explode, to play the victim, the great ones know. True power lies in choosing your own thought. Napoleon Hill called this mental sovereignty. He said all riches, of every kind, begin with a dominated idea. What does this mean? That before you conquer anything out there, you must first conquer what is in here. You don't control the economy. You don't control others' opinions. But you can choose not to yield, not to bend, and not to surrender your peace to what does not deserve it. This silent choice, made within the mind, is the first step toward becoming unbreakable. And believe this, whoever masters this inner space has nothing to prove to anyone.
But only if you have the courage to face it, not flee from it. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit." But here is the secret. That seed does not flower in those who hide from their own pain. You want to be unshakable? Then stop running from everything that discomforts you. Stop anesthetizing your mind with distractions. Stop avoiding the silence, for it is there that truth appears. The pain you avoid today will return tomorrow, stronger. But the pain you face with firmness transforms you into someone no failure can break. Don't ask for a lighter life. Ask to be made stronger. For pain is inevitable, but suffering is the choice of those who refuse to evolve. The world sees what you show, but life rewards you for what you do when no one is watching. It's easy to look strong online. It's easy to speak beautifully in videos. The hard part is maintaining focus when there is no applause. The hard part is rising early with no one to demand it. The hard part is staying firm when no one recognizes your effort. But that is where empires are built. Napoleon Hill called this the invisible character, the strength that only appears behind the scenes, the discipline no one sees, but that transforms everything. While the weak live on image, the strong live on practice. They train in silence. They study while others sleep. They persist even without guarantees. Because they know what you practice in the dark is what shines when your hour arrives.
And that hour always comes, but only for those who were prepared. Do you know the difference between those who win and those who quit? It is not talent. It is not luck. It is persistence. Napoleon Hill wrote, "The turning point in the lives of those who succeed usually comes at the moment of some crisis, when everything seems lost. Most stop too soon. They quit at the first obstacle, or the second, or the 10th. But the victors are those who continue even when it no longer seems to make sense. They understand a silent law of life. Miracles do not happen for those who merely try. They happen for those who do not stop. You may not see results now. It may seem like nothing is changing. But if you continue, something ahead will open up, not by magic, but because life bends before those who insist with faith, discipline, and an internal fire no one can extinguish. Stop wanting everyone to understand you. You don't need to be comprehended. You need to be respected. And respect is not born from explanation. It is born from posture. Napoleon Hill said, "The man who knows what he wants does not need to justify himself. He simply proceeds." People only understand what is within their own reach. But you are not here to fit inside the understanding of others. You are here to build your own path, even if no one applauds at the start. You want respect? Then stop bending over. Stop begging for validation. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into small places. Speak less. Walk with more firmness. Let the results speak for you. Because in the end, the one who acts as if nothing affects him shocks, silences, and inspires all at once. They say you've grown cold, that you've changed, that you're not the same anymore. But what they don't know is that this coldness they criticize is the armor you built after being wounded too many times. Napoleon Hill taught that great leaders are those who learn to master their own heart without losing their soul. You didn't become cold, you became selective. You stopped begging for love. You stopped accepting emotional crumbs. You healed. And whoever heals learns to guard their silence, to walk away without drama, to protect their peace as something sacred. The world calls this coldness, but you know, this is maturity. This is self-love. This is survival. Because whoever has cried alone too much has learned to not be shaken by every storm. Do you really think it will be easy? That simply wanting and believing will make everything fall into place? No, life does not work that way. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Life tests the determination of all men before entrusting them with great responsibility. You will be ignored. You will be rejected. You will work in silence while no one believes in you. And perhaps you will think of quitting. But listen carefully. This is not the end. It is the test. Life wants to know if you are ready, if your will is genuine, if you will move forward even when everything says, go back. For only after the test comes the reward. And the stronger your resistance, the more grand your victory. Act as if nothing affects you, because deep down you know, the great only receive after proving they do not quit. Have you endured in silence? Have you continued when no one supported you? Have you cried alone and still gotten up? Then listen to me now with an open heart. You are closer than you imagine. Napoleon Hill said, "Many people quit when they are one step away from success. They stop before the finish line. And perhaps that is exactly where you are, one step. You don't feel it because you are tired. You don't see it because you are in the dark. But what you have been planting in silence is growing deep roots. What seems invisible today will be admired by all tomorrow. But only you will know it all started in that moment when no one believed. And still, you continued. So take a deep breath and go a little further, because the finish line never announces its proximity. It only appears to those who do not stop. You don't need to shout, you don't need to display, you don't need to explain your victories.
It is enough to be at peace. It is enough to stay firm. It is enough to continue. And that alone is unsettling. Napoleon Hill observed, "Quiet persistence breaks more barriers than any show of force." And that is what is happening to you now. Your calm unsettles those who live in chaos. Your discipline irritates those who only know procrastination. Your silent evolution screams at those who live in stagnation. And that is why they judge you, criticize you, exclude you. Not because you are wrong, but because your presence exposes their weakness. Continue like this, firm, focused, quiet, because the noisy ones want a stage, but the silent ones are building empires. The world belongs to those who do not despair, to those who observe before acting, to those who, even with hot blood, respond with cool clarity. Napoleon Hill stated, "The man who masters his impulses inevitably masters his environment." This is no exaggeration. In a world where everyone reacts, the one who thinks before acting stands out. The majority explodes, complains, sabotages themselves in a moment of anger or need. But you have learned to breathe deeply, to pause before speaking, to act with purpose and not impulse. This makes you rare. This makes you respected. This makes you feared. Because true power is not making noise. It is remaining centered while the world collapses around you. If you master your interior, the exterior is already won. Sometimes it seems you are alone, that only you chose the hard path, the path of discipline, self-control, silence. But listen closely. You are not alone. You are part of an invisible minority that wakes early, unseen, that fights for a purpose without applause, that carries silent scars, and still moves forward with resolute. Napoleon Hill knew this. He wrote for those who think differently, for those who refuse the easy path, and you are one of them. While many quit at the first fall, you continue. While many shout, you act in silence. This is the mark of the strong. They do not need to be seen all the time, because they know true recognition comes when the world can no longer ignore them. You are on this path, and there are many others like you, growing in silence. There comes a point where nothing matters as much as your mission. You begin to lose interest in empty conversations, in distractions, in opinions, because now you are obsessed. And no, that is not an exaggeration. It is precisely this state of mind that creates legends. Napoleon Hill called this the definite chief aim, an internal fire so strong it consumes fear, laziness, doubt, everything. You begin to live at a different rhythm. While others relax, you adjust your course. While they complain, you execute. You are no longer interested in seeming. You want to achieve. And what was sacrifice becomes a lifestyle. What was difficult becomes natural. Because now, focus is no longer an effort. It is part of who you have become. And when that happens, nothing distracts you. Nothing stops you. Have you fallen? Have you thought of stopping? Have you cried in silence while the world carried on as if nothing was happening? But you did not quit. And that is what makes you different. Napoleon Hill said, "Persistence transforms character,
and molds destiny. The world may not recognize your effort at first. It may ignore you, criticize you, leave you alone. But there is one thing no one can ignore for long: results. And results come to those who stayed, who insisted, who went through the heart of the pain and emerged stronger. In the end, the world bows. Those who laughed will applaud. Those who doubted will learn from you, because the world may not like it, but it respects those who never quit. And if you have come this far, you are one of them. You are not the same anymore. The one who was shaken by everything is left behind. The one who needed approval no longer exists. Today, you walk firmly. You think with clarity. You choose silence as your sword. Napoleon Hill knew the most powerful force in the universe resides within the man who has mastered himself. And now that force is in you. You no longer need to shout or prove anything, because your posture speaks, your discipline shines, your focus inspires. And the most beautiful part? You don't even need to be noticed. For the truly great need no audience. They live their truth in silence, and by their mere existence, they show the way. Now, breathe deeply. Look around. See who you have become. You are a living proof that when you grow silent, the world listens. If this message has touched you, if it resonated with your current moment in life, then share this strength. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, tell us what struck you most, or simply write, "I choose to be unshakable." This helps us continue spreading this message to more people like you who are awakening to a new version of themselves. Remember, silence can be your greatest weapon and your mind your true wealth. We'll see you in the next video.